Welcome back to Beyond the Brick. I am Boone Langston and I have March's copy of Blocks Magazine. Let's check it out. So Blocks Magazine this month has Taj Mahal on the cover, and we will see more of this build as we thumb through the magazine this month. Looks like a lot of exciting things going on in the table of contents. Let's just dive right in. The first thing that catches my attention is the Month in Lego page that features the Lego Ideas ship in a bottle. I'm really excited about this build. I had the pleasure of meeting the original creator, Jacob Sadovich, at this month's Bricks Cascade here in my hometown of Portland, Oregon. And this is a look at the Lego Ideas set. What a cool set. I really want to try to get my hands on this thing. Though the official set is a little bit smaller than the original, it is still almost 1,000 pieces. A really cool look with this emulated glass bottle, a ship inside, and even a bunch of little pieces that represent the water and a brick-built compass on the base. The Leviathan is sure to be an awesome addition to anyone's Lego display. And they do make a nice point here that even the cardboard box that it comes in is a really beautiful piece of artwork. Moving on here, this is an interesting article about the Snowspeeder, the Star Wars Snowspeeder, and how it has had the most iterations of any Lego Star Wars vehicle at any scale. And then we get into This Lego Life, and this is about some of the Blocks writers and some of the experience that they have had with Lego over the years. Ooh, I love this spot here that shows some of the old magazines and catalogs. I definitely remember seeing these when I was younger. Keep pressing on. This is kind of a funny thing about the top 10 Lego controversies. Definitely worth a look. And then we get into the Taj Mahal. Some really beautiful pictures of the Taj Mahal here. A really great build that you might remember if you were with us for the 24-hour live stream back in November. And this is really interesting. The lines betray just how many tiny pieces build up this grand recreation. And yeah, this, I remember commenting on how many itty-bitty one-by-one slopes and plates make up all of these little window features. There was a lot of stacking plates on plates on plates on plates. Oh man, what a fun build though. And then we get some more fantastic shots of this and a great article about the Taj Mahal. But I am going to keep pressing on. That leads us to the reviews. And an awesome thing that I don't know I would have noticed. I don't follow Lego Technic very closely, but I have seen some pretty incredible builds coming out in these lines lately, and this one looks awesome. I would love to drive this sort of 4-track 4x4 rig. Got some great pictures here. I love the purple and black and yellow. This reminds me, this color scheme kind of reminds me of a throwback to some older Lego Technic sets. And then we're into the typical review section that we see in Blocks Magazine. And then on to examining the X-wing, and this, similar to the Snowspeeder piece that we saw earlier in the magazine, this shows sort of the history of the X-wing and is an article about designers and the X-wing over the years. Really neat looking timeline down here at the bottom of these pages. And what's coming up next, we will see. And then we get into part 2 of the Millennium Falcon Mod Squad. In last month's edition, we saw some techniques used for modifying the new UCS Millennium Falcon set, and here is even more of that. And this is part 2, so we may see more of this in the future. And then this caught my eye. I love Ghostbusters, and this is an article about taking photos with your MOCs and how picking the right background to complement the colors of your MOCs is almost as important in presentation as the efforts that you put into building your MOCs in the first place. That article goes on here, and we see this a really bright white background here for the Lego Ninjago City set. And then another part 2 here. This is another build that is a continuation from a modular mod that began in last month's edition, and they gave us a teaser for what this building was going to look like, and in this edition we get the second story of this building. So this is pretty cool looking. Shows us a few more detailed pictures here, along with some of the techniques that were used to achieve this building. Oh, and it looks like they finish up the rest of this building here in this article. Keep pressing on, and even more steampunk Batman stuff, another continuation from last month. So it looks like this month is carrying on some of the things that began last month. Here an article called Evolving the Terrain. Some really interesting stuff about building terrain. I love this sort of dinosaur-looking skeleton thing we've got going on here, but the focus of this article is building the terrain and building up these pieces. I love this look that we have here, and here they've used some multicolors in the techniques to sort of highlight some of the ways that you can build these terrain pieces. And then we get on to a mock Q&A and more of the mock pages, which these are always some of my favorite pages in Blocks magazine. And I love this El Castillo here, a really simple small build, but a really rewarding look when it's finished. And they've shown you completely how to build this build here in the magazine. Finally, the Steampunk Kraken, and that thing is really wild, and I love how they have sort of taken the ocean and continued it up into a giant wave that represents the background for this build. Pretty neat. A little bit on the Scareback Fan Weekend in 2017. Looks like they had some awesome builds going on at this event. And we are near the end of the magazine here. We see some small sets, big profits. That must be a good sign. I like the look of these cars. And here we've got the Blocks Brictionary, and I think this is a pretty cool thing. I've seen this kind of stuff online before. You know, when you get into the fandom of Lego, there are a lot of bits of terminology that can be hard to understand unless you look them up or you have friends that can let you know what they mean. And here we've got a great look at some of these. Here we got Billund, town in Denmark, where headquarters and primary design center of the Lego group is situated. I know I heard back when I was first getting into Lego, I heard Billund a couple times and assumed that they were talking about the world headquarters, and now I know that it's where it all began, in Denmark, and I look forward to going there someday. We've got PAB, Pick a Brick Wall, LDD, the Lego Digital Designer, Dark Ages, the period in a Lego fan's life when they set aside Lego in favor of other non-Lego pursuits, and it's certainly always fun to talk to people about when their Dark Ages began and ended, when people came back to the fandom. So that's March in Blocks magazine. If you want to know more about this, you can check it out at www.blocksmag.com. And be sure to subscribe to Beyond the Brick for more great Lego videos every day. Thanks for watching.